On April 16, 2008, a group of teenagers call the police. The teenagers are in Thomashohe Park in Berlin-Neukölln. It is almost 10:30 in the evening. The teenagers have made a gruesome discovery. A wheeled suitcase ablaze with flames. Inside is the body of a girl. The police can only confirm the death of the teenagers. Her name was Kristina Hani, and she was only 14 years old. She was put in a suitcase. Several liters of gasoline were poured over her and then set on fire. Months later, there will be a suspected perpetrator, but not enough evidence. That is why the question still arises today. Who murdered Kristina Hani? Kristina has a brother and lives with him and their mother in Berlin. The small family lives on the 5th floor of an apartment building in a 2.5-room apartment. Kristina's father left Germany in 2004, and her mother was then the owner of a small jewelry store on Silbersteinstrasse. Kristina attends the Ernst Abbe Gymnasium on Sonnenallee and is in the 7th grade there. It is the 3rd school the 14-year-old has attended in 2 years. She often skips class but still has good grades. The girl is highly intelligent with an IQ of 145, well above the average of just under 100 points. Friends describe Kristina as kind and polite, but also as a loner, especially in the last 6 months. She didn't have any close friends. She hung around in loose cliques in Neukölln. Actually, she's a normal teenager. She likes to wear makeup, reads a lot, likes to listen to rap music, and occasionally has trouble with her mother. But there are also other observations of Kristina Hani. Now and then she's said to have been seen getting into expensive cars. Kristina was also often seen in Kerner Park, where she consumed grass. She also often stayed away overnight, sometimes for several days. That's why her mother waited a few days after her disappearance to report her missing. The separation of her parents is said to have been very difficult for her. After her father moved to Belgrade in 2004, she spoke to him on the phone weekly and visited him every summer. After her trip to Belgrade in 2006, she's said to have changed a lot and talked about her father even more than before. Kristina is said to have repeatedly said that she wanted to move in with her father as soon as she could. In February 2008, Kristina and a boy 2 years older than her were guests at a youth club. At the time, it was noticed that the girl was pale and swaying a lot. When she entered the youth club, she collapsed, apparently due to drug use. Fortunately, there were supervisors on site who recognized the situation and immediately called an ambulance. The police also arrived. Although the 14-year-old was treated that day, her body was found just 2 months later in a burning suitcase in a park in Neukölln. Kristina had previously been admitted to hospital twice for drug use, and one of these 2 incidents may have been the one at the youth club. At the end of 2007, the social services had assigned a family helper to Kristina's side. But despite these efforts, Kristina Hani died on April 16th. During the toxicological examinations, carbon monoxide was detected in Kristina's blood, and ash particles were found in her lungs, which means that Kristina was still breathing when the suitcase in which she was lying was set on fire. It is assumed that she had taken an overdose of drugs, probably heroin, before. She may not have been unconscious, but she was incapacitated. Unfortunately, this means that Kristina may have been aware of what was happening to her. The identity of the burned girl is not yet known. The police are looking for clues about her and for witnesses who may have seen something. A pair of earrings were also found on the body. The police have published a photo of them. Kristina's mother recognized the earrings in a photo on the internet because they are exactly the same kind of earrings that she also sells in her jewelry store. That's why Kristina's mother contacted the police. At that point, she hadn't yet considered the possibility that the body might be that of her own daughter. The police take a saliva sample from the mother, and the next day there is the sad certainty. The body found in the park is that of her daughter, Kristina. Although Kristina had not come home for a few days, it was not the first time that this had happened. That is why the shock for her mother is huge. Several witnesses state that they saw 2 young men that night. They are said to have come from the direction of Silbersteinstrasse and were seen dragging a trolley in the direction of Thomasstrasse to the Thomas Höhe Park, where Kristina's body was found in exactly such a suitcase. One of the two men was wearing a red windbreaker and a baseball cap. The men are also described as Southern European. The investigation focuses on the drug scene in Berlin-Neukölln. And indeed, the police managed to determine the place where the suitcase was probably bought, namely in Zoremann's export shop on Hermannstrasse. Today, there seems to be no such shop there anymore. If I'm wrong, please feel free to correct me in the comments. Despite all the approaches and observations, it becomes quiet around the case of Kristina Hani over the summer of 2008. It takes a full 8 months before someone is arrested in her case. A young man named Ali K., who was only 17 years old at the time. He comes from Berlin-Friedrichshain and has been in custody since October 2008 for drug possession. He is said to have sold heroin at subway stations in Berlin-Neukölln. In April 2008, he was first convicted of drug trafficking and given a 1-year suspended sentence. The suspended sentence against him came just 2 weeks before Kristina Hani was killed. Ultimately, he was linked to Kristina and incriminated by statements from fellow prisoners. The public prosecutor accuses Ali K. of giving the heroin to 14-year-old Kristina. When she collapsed unconscious after her overdose, he did not help her. Instead, with the help of another unknown person, he placed her in the trolley bag in which Kristina was later found. Then Ali K. and an unknown accomplice took the trolley case with Kristina's lifeless body to the park and set it on fire. Ali K. was afraid that after Kristina's overdose, people would investigate her drug use and that he would be exposed as a dealer. 2 witnesses state that Ali K. admitted to them that he was responsible for Kristina's death. He is said to have told 2 fellow inmates of the juvenile detention center about Kristina's death, and in this conversation, Ali K. is said to have said exactly what has now become the basis for the indictment: that he did not help Kristina after the girl passed out. He also is said to have told of a friend named Ahmed who helped him take the body to the park and set fire to it. On the basis of these statements, he is charged with attempted murder by omission. The proceedings are held in camera. Ali K. does not make any statement himself, but through his lawyers he continues to vehemently claim that he is innocent. But something unexpected happens in court. Ali K. is acquitted, due to lack of evidence. Not only did the defendant himself refuse to testify in court, but one of the 2 witnesses whose testimony allowed Ali to be charged in the first place also did not testify in the trial. The second witness became entangled in contradictions. The statements are so incoherent that the court cannot use them. In fact, the problem is that it could not even be proven that Kristina really got the heroin from Ali K. It is still not known where and in whose company she took the overdose. According to the available sources, it was mainly the statements of Ali's 2 fellow prisoners that linked him to the crime. When the 2 refused to testify in court and watered down their testimony, this connection no longer existed in legal terms. To this day, it has not been proven how Kristina Hani died on April 16, 2008. This means that there are still people today who carry this knowledge with them. Even more than 16 years after Kristina's death, it is not too late to share this knowledge, because Kristina still has a mother, a father, a brother, and friends for whom the death of the 14-year-old has changed their whole lives. My condolences go out to the relatives, and I very much hope that at some point it will be possible to find out what happened to Kristina Hani. Take good care of yourself and your friends, because this case shows that sometimes you don't even realize how much a loved one can slip away. If there are any other unsolved crimes that you would like to see a video about, please let me know in the comments. If you would like to promote this video, please leave a like. The more interaction there is, the more likely the video will be suggested to new viewers, and especially with an unsolved case like this, I would be happy if as many people as possible found out about it. Otherwise, there's not much more to say. I wish you a good morning, noon, or evening, or whenever you watch the video, and hope to see you again in the next video. Until then, ciao folks.